So let's kind of walk on and let's talk about the pump room. So I was talking earlier about the pump room. This is the most elaborate version of this. This is kind of tap head. So this was a place you could come and get your horrible sulphurous water that was supposedly going to make you feel a lot better, make you feel a lot worse. It was described as kind of fetid, really kind of nasty. You know, as I say earlier, this is like a pub that only sells water. Water that stinks of sulphur. So these pump rooms opened here in 1842, and they were serving 1,500 glasses of spa water daily. I'll show you the tap head in just a moment. So guess I'm going here. Sorry, I'm John Skinner. Hello.
Hi, how you doing, all right?
Well, good, thank you. And this source of water, go there, John, there. And just down here is still working. And this is basically was for people that didn't have the wealth and the means to be able to go to the upmarket places. They could simply, God, the smell is terrible. So if I press this, and it's not working at all in a minute, but basically you can see their press. But honestly, standing here, it just stinks like rotten eggs. Oh, there, it's starting to dribble out now. So that is the sulphur water. I said the cost of this was kind of regulated to ensure that everybody, because it's not great if you need a wee, but it's like it now, do not drink or consume, not fit for drinking or consumption. But basically, everybody could afford, essentially, to come here for a week and take the waters. And so in 1841, the Harrogate Act ensured, if you like, wrote into law, the right of poor people to access this. So it was very, very cheap, and so it should be. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. So it's been described as the most fetid and foul-smelling water, a nauseous puddle. The author, Tobias Smollett, said, "I drank it once, and as the first draught cured me of all desire to repeat the medicine." Charles Dickens visited the pump room here in 1858. He signed the visitor book inside. And his comment was not entirely complimentary. He wrote, "Harrogate is the queerest place, with the strangest people in it, leading the oddest lives of dancing, newspaper reading, and dining." So it's fair to say he wasn't a fan either. It really is an acquired taste, this bizarre water. But Harrogate itself is not an acquired taste. It is absolutely beautiful. And it's why it's such a joy, thank you, Kristen, to take you down here and tell these various stories, talk about Tolkien, talk about Agatha Christie, about the wealth things. But it's all really, they're all here for the same reason. To rest, to recuperate. So this is a luxury resort. I think you can tell by the buildings, by the architecture, by the street scene, by the care and attention that it's going to put into creating shop fronts. These are all here to catch the eye of the wealthy. People with deep pockets. So Harrogate has always been associated with wealth. A kind of discreet form of wealth. It's not a showy form of wealth. It's not vulgar in any sense. It is old money, and it is money that knows what it wants. Comfort, style, class. So let's walk down to kind of Royal Parade. So much of it is named from Royal, because there was so much the royal heads of Europe would come and stay here. Thank you, Diane. And we'll go to Montpellier Road and Crescent. But many of the royals that came here, they weren't just English royals. So the Harrogate Royal Baths have long been the magnet for the rich and the famous. And in Victorian times, royalty would kind of amuse themselves by racing their bath chairs down the hill. There's a lovely crown just over here. Let me just come and take you onto this roundabout, because I thought this was such a lovely bit over here. So I'll just show you the nice plaque here. That was like the wartime plaques. So it says, "In the hour of peril, the people of Harrogate and the gratitude of the British nations sustaining the valour of the Royal Air Force and fortifying the cause of freedom by the gift of a Spitfire aircraft." So basically, a Spitfire was gifted the people of Harrogate. So again, as I say, they're wealthy. So let me just take you over here to see this illuminated crown, then we'll go and have a look at the Royal Baths. And they're very lovely sort of parts. So yeah, what you'll see is a lot of these are slopes. So in front of us there, coming down the slope. And so the bath chairs, you know what bath chairs are? Like kind of wheelchairs, little sort of further wheel at the front with a steering wheel. So apparently they'd race one another. All these invalids, these rather decrepit old folk in their bath chairs would nonetheless get this zip, wasn't it, their sulphur, and so bath chair racing was all too common around these parts. But look, isn't this pretty? So again, association with the Crown, absolutely. I can imagine toppling over at the bottom. We've got the Crown Hotel. Is that one behind? Yeah, it's the Crown Hotel. So we've got the Crown Hotel over here. And again, everything. Live tour of Blackpool Air Show. Yeah, it's definitely a thought. Thanks, Joel. We'll look that up. DM me a link, will you, to our messenger. So lots of Crown, lots of kind of associations. So this was, as I say, a resort that attracted the crowned heads of Europe. The princes, the princesses, the very, very well-heeled would all come here to Harrogate to basically, as I say, access the waters. You know, because at the end of the day, without wishing to get too finger pointing about inbreeding, if you look at the family trees of the European royal families, you'll see they're all related. The gene pool was not as big as it should be. Red Irish fibers. And so consequently, when you got these diseases like haemophilia, of course, which was famously lovely older, the pump head over here for the baths. Off to Harrogate. So these little baths, these are bathing areas here. So inside these, you'd have basically like a sauna type jacuzzi. So around the town, various places you could go bathing, taking different kind of waters. And thank you, Charles, just saw that pop up. So because you've got all these families intermarrying, and the gene pool isn't as diverse as it might be, unlike us commoners, you know, that they just we keep healthy, don't we, by breeding like mongrel dogs, aren't we? The rest of us. But for them, you see, you know, they're all marrying into the same families to preserve their wealth. So consequently, no deep end that gene pool. Exactly, KCM, no deep end. So there's lots of these problems become endemic, if you like, amongst families, and they run generation after generation. Huge problems with these sort of genetic kind of disorders amongst the European families. So consequently, you know, they're all told, you know, come to Harrogate and that'll help to take the waters. So that's kind of why, really, you know, you've got this concentration here of the kind of the apparatus of helping sick people to get better, but everything done on a luxury kind of level. So again, you're just looking around, you know, at the hotel walk past. Thank you. That's a great link. Thank you. Everything is on a super scale, very classy, all kind of designed around, you know, kind of long stays, as you might say. So the whole thing is kind of structured around expecting people coming here for several weeks or even months at a time to take the benefits of taking these waters over a kind of sustained period of time. So of course that means then entertainments, it means places to stay, places to eat, and so forth. So the whole thing, you know, was designed, and it kind of probably hit its absolute kind of peak in terms of kind of popularity, in terms of use, in terms of patronage, just for the First World War. Obviously everything changed after the First World War, because suddenly people didn't want Austro-Hungarians and Germans and Axis powers over here, you know, having fun. It was rather seen that you know, it was far better that they should sort of stay in their own country, defeated enemies. So we've got the Royal Hall Theatre in front of us, originally known as the Kersel, from a place in Belgium, but again it sounded far too foreign, far too German. So during the war, they yes, we will, Janice. Just hold that thought on James Harriet. But most famously around here, and strangely now, it is a Chinese restaurant, is the Royal Pump Rooms. And this was a most glorious bathhouse. You know, it's almost like a stately home of a bath. If I'm going to come over across the road, if I may, so you can just get a sort of full-size sort of postcard of this, and kind of just take in the sheer grandeur. I mean, this, in effect, is a swimming bath. But look at it. Just take that and just think for a moment of when you set out to build a place of bathing, but you decide it needs that degree of decoration, that degree of ornamentation, this sort of scale. It could be a cathedral, couldn't it, Janice? You know that you're talking about people building, in effect, 5-star facilities for people that are going to pay through the nose to access them, right? Everything. Look around. Let me just be a kind of gyroscope and go around. Look at it everywhere you look. is grand, it's impressive, it's massive. It's all based, Temple of Health absolutely, on extracting large amounts of money for long periods of time from people who've got a lot of money. That's the whole kind of purpose of Harrogate. Now, a small part of this is still open, and you can visit. And if you visit Harrogate, you first go for a royal baths, go for a Chinese meal there. It's quite a bizarre Chinese restaurant, but it's beautiful inside. You can imagine, absolutely stunning. So the royal baths is the place to be. So we've got the Royal Hall, the theatre over the other side as well, the Cursal, which means cure hall, by the way, because you were Cursal, which is spelled Kursall, so Cursal or cure hall. That was the name of that theatre over there. But as I say, it was seen as far too Germanic, that language, so good old Royal Hall instead. This is where the Gilbert and Sullivan, any Gilbert and Sullivan fans on the tour? There's a big festival held here every year. So this is a kind of destination, so we have a pilgrimage for fans of Gilbert and Sullivan. Just give you a bit of a blow up there so you can see it. It's held in this lovely theatre, and hopefully at some point we'll get an interior tour of this theatre, because it's absolutely beautiful inside. We have brine baths in Droitwich Spa. Okay, so Droitwich, you're obviously the West Midlands. So different parts of the country, of course, have different mineral kind of compositions associated with different kind of cures. But it's said that cabinet meetings of the British government were sometimes held here in the Turkish baths. Now let me give you, let me come off Zoom and show you. So this is the actual bit that's still open. So around there's an Indian Chinese restaurant, beg pardon. But this bit here, where you can see the canopy on our right hand side, you can still go here and visit for a Turkish bath. And it is stunning. If you've never been for a bath, I can't recommend it highly enough. Basically what you've got is you've got a series of rooms, each one getting hotter than the previous one, until at the very end you're in a very, very hot sauna indeed, and then you go in an ice cold plunge pool, take a cold shower, start again, and do that cycle as many times as you like. But what is amazing is the interior. Let me just bring up for you what it looks like. Just bring up a few images so you can just get a sense of quite how beautiful this is. It is like something from a dream or a stage set. It's just so unbelievably ornate. I can't kind of begin to describe to you just how wonderful and beautiful it is. Has anyone been to a Turkish bath? It's the most kind of remarkable experience. And these baths here opened in 1897. Very, very common in Victorian times. But there's only 7 now remaining in the UK. And this is the most historically... Where are the pics you ring up? Did the pics not come up? They came up in my chat. I'll put them up again. Wasn't ornate like that. Just in case the pic didn't come up, I'll just put them up again. 1, 2. Go. That's the pictures. Oh, good, fantastic. So they're established to kind of complement the existing facilities, and it's under the Harrogate cure. And it kind of covered a variety of treatments. So you come for like the full package, like spa package you have now, don't you, right? And you might have some various elements within your spa package. Well, it's exactly the same. This was the Harrogate package.